Yes, yes, yes. Yes. What's that? Uh, Hold on. Okay. Oh, here we go. All right. There we go, JR. There we go. Nice and clean. Not sure what happened with that. Now we're good. Now we are good. Yep. Should be nice and clean now. Good. Yes. There I am. And that's where I will stay. Yes, yes, and yes. All right, folks. Here we go. Yep. Oh, wow. It keeps shutting off. Check, check. Oh, I don't know why it's doing that. Huh. Let me check this. Okay, there we no. Let me try it again. It went off again. The video is fine. Stand by. Oh, it's doing that. Okay, there we go. There we go. I don't know why it keeps doing that, but we'll monitor. Coming in nice and clean on my end. Not sure. Maybe it's Biden. I don't know, but we'll stay. We're 3 minutes out. 3 minutes out, folks. 3 minutes. That was quite an interview that Biden did with Lester Holt. Certainly didn't alleviate anybody's concerns, to say the least. Folks, very hot, but nice weather. I will take. Nope. It keeps shutting off. All right. It keeps. Hold on. It keeps clicking off. All right. Stand by. Everybody on Facebook, you're fine. We just have to get our radio connection here. We're going to go to this feed, and that should be fine. There we go. I don't know why it's doing that. Folks, who knows? Various glitches. It can happen. This is what happens when you're going live. Yep. Get rid of that. Okay, we are live in just a moment. Not sure why it keeps doing that. We'll just do this. Totally thought like this time we'll make it nice and easy, and then instead we get something like this. But we should be good there. Okay. I can try it like that. Check, check, check. Nope. Check, check, check. There we go. All right. That should be good. Either way, he's going to have me, folks. Those that are watching on our live stream, you have nothing to worry about. Seemed to just be a little bit of a technical issue on that end. I think we should be good to go. So I have no reason to believe that we're not going to be good to go. Now I'm just waiting for JR to give us the cue, and then we are in motion on this warm Tuesday, July 16th. So we'll just wait for JR to give us the cue, folks, and then obviously we're going to be doing at 12:06. Good afternoon to JR again. Right now I'm seeing Q go live. The connection seems terrific. If for whatever reason it cuts out, you can always pick up our feed. I sent you the link on Facebook. So, folks, just a little bit of technical on this Tuesday, July 16th. We want as many people to hear and see the program as possible. Good. JR is locked in. We are locked in, folks. That was quite a night last night as we finally got to see President Trump. Now, JD Vance, someone actually sent an email. Are you related to JD? No, I'm not related to JD Vance just because people call me JD. No. But anyhow, they seem to be a very strong ticket. But right now, I'm going to explain why it's still in my mind. It doesn't matter. A lot of the distractions that you're hearing out there, that people are trying to put out there. But I'm telling you that it still just doesn't matter. But folks, this portion of the program, now listen, this is prime summer and temperatures, I don't mind it hot as long as you're in air conditioning. Or all you have to remember about when the heat gets like this, you want to avoid being outside in the sun from like 10 in the morning till 4:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock. Then nighttime is fine. Last night was totally fine. We were out doing road patrol. We'll be out this afternoon. We're definitely out tonight. But this portion of the program, I do want to see Nikki Haley is going to speak at the convention tonight, former ambassador. She's going to speak tonight. It's about law and order. I think she's speaking past 10 o'clock, so we definitely have plenty of time to do road patrol tonight. Last night was pretty busy. We'll see as the temperature continues to climb during this heat wave. This portion of the program, folks, PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. Locally sourced vegetables, sweet corn, native tomatoes. They have it all. Now, especially those of you, when you're coming back from the beaches in South County, pop by PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center, 3688 Quaker Lane in North Kingstown, right down from Tarbox Toyota. They have hanging pots, hanging patience, pansy marigold bags. Why not get some beautifully locally sourced vegetables on your way back from the beaches? They are Rhode Island's #1 garden center. The fertile ground right now, because of all the rain that we had this spring, still a great time to plant. Full-scale nursery, everything you need to make your home a showstopper. It's PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center, 3688 Quaker Lane in North Kingstown. Now, folks, remember, you can always listen online to the program. We have many different ways. As a matter of fact, we work to continue to create platforms that you can either listen and or watch the program. And one way you can always do it is at the website, depetro.com. I want to thank the great Jeff Gamach. Right now, the signal on the website, depetro.com, where you just click listen live, it's never been clearer than it is right now. And depetro.com, brought to you by the Coesit Inn, 226 Coesit Avenue, West Warwick. Remember, lunch, dinner, drinks in the lounge, the market at Coesit, the Coesit Inn. All right, I want to get to the latest. Obviously, that was really remarkable last night, and I think you could tell for those that saw it. I found it was very emotional for President Trump, and Biden is not helping himself. And the Democrat Party, they're still in revolt. Now, Lester Holt, who interviewed President Biden last night, and they ran it in the news, and then they ran a little bit more later. President Biden, he's very defiant, and he still is upset. As I have been telling you, he is unplugged. I noticed it in the Stephanopoulos interview. By the way, this can happen with various leaders. It can happen with the head of a company. It can happen with the head of a football team, Bob Kraft, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. It can happen in a lot of different scenarios. I apologize for that. So, but in this particular scenario, it's very obvious that President Biden, and by the way, I'm not even convinced if they were giving him all the information. As Bill Maher said, this is almost like akin to trying to wrestle the car keys away from, someone intoxicated. He is, even if they were presenting, but they're not, presenting him anything. Now, the media, they've now resorted in going back to try to attack President Trump. That's more than obvious. And it is, it should be noted, Morning Joe was pulled off the air yesterday morning, and they were pretty hot about that. I could play some of that sound coming up. They thought, and they talked about it, Joe and Mika and Willie Geist, who I think is the guy is beyond vanilla, but what a career that Willie Geist has had. But they were told, we're going to run with an NBC breaking news feed all day. And clearly, well, I didn't watch it, but clearly they found, well, that's not true. So that's pretty significant that the people that run NBC News and run MSNBC, They didn't want to put, quote, Morning Joe on the air. By the way, Fox had a huge night on Saturday night. Fox News Channel, in that breaking news on President Trump, like not even close. When they broke out the numbers, I think 6 or 7 million people were watching Fox. And by the way, there was as much as maybe that doesn't sound like a huge number, that was scattered. People were watching all kinds of coverage. So it's a huge number. They're dominant. ABC, the networks, they were maybe like 2 million, 3 million. Fox was just completely through the roof. But here's what's significant is the whole narrative right now. The Lester Holt interview last night brought it back to Biden and whether or not he is fit to remain the nominee. And the clock is ticking. And I'll tell you, someone who is being mentioned and talked about and quoted and watched right now is Rhode Island Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, who the Democrat Party right now, they seem resigned to the fact that Biden's the nominee and they're going to lose. And that's a good thing. But they can try to attack J.D. Vance. I think President Trump is going to kind of tone it down. He doesn't need to, deliver the knockout punch. I don't even think last night I don't think a lot of that's even necessary right now. I think President Trump even realized as he was listening to a lot of that speech and some of the talk last night, I'm not convinced they need to go there. Right now, the story is the failed assassination attempt, and there's still a lot of unanswered questions from the Secret Service. And J.D. Vance, he's not going to make or break the nomination here. It comes down to Trump Biden. And Lester Holt, I give him credit, mainstream media. There were times he let him off the mat a little bit. There were times that he let President Biden, who, by the way, was very irritable and grouchy and crotchety with Lester Holt last night. But just the fact of, would you be willing to debate him in August? And Biden wouldn't take the bait. And when Lester Holt said, well, don't you want to get back on the horse? And Biden's like, what are you talking about? See, again, he's oblivious to the damage that was done. It sounds as though Biden is even oblivious of how much they want to remove him. But he's not going anywhere. The story of this election right now remains, unless something changes, and you don't want anything to change, but it remains President Trump pumping the fist up into the air, and you have one candidate who is frail, and another candidate that takes a bullet and just keeps rolling along. That narrative has not changed. They want to change it. They want to pound on J.D. Vance. They want to pound and go back to that. I'm not, they're not there. What are people talking about right now on this Tuesday? They're talking about there was President Trump at the convention with the gauze over his ear. By the way, I think it was, I saw it on CNN that they had a reporter. He's either Irish or Scottish, Donnie something, and he was outside the protesters, and they show these Democrat protesters and their women. I'm going to say maybe in their 50s, early 60s, maybe, and they're saying that they think the whole thing was a hoax. They don't fully believe it, but they're open to the idea that the assassination was a hoax. Now, I think it was interesting that CNN showed that, because it shows a disconnect within the Democrat Party. What do I mean by that? Most of the time, the only time the media shows a group that is conspiracy oriented is, in fact, when they show conservatives or when they show Trump supporters or QAnon, whatever. This was different, where they show these seem to be suburban women. Now, I'm not going to say they weren't young. They weren't in their 20s, so they weren't like new moms. I'm going to say late 50s, early 60s. But there they were saying, possible, maybe it was fake. I mean, anyone that believes that right now, let me say this. No one reasonable believes that right now. If you would have believed that, let's go down that rabbit hole, if you will. You enter into the free Karen Reed territory, which is, if you're going to believe that, how many people are involved with the conspiracy? You would need, if you really want to play that out, in the interview didn't do it, but so who was the person shot and killed on the roof? President Trump is involved with the conspiracy. All of the Secret Service agents are involved with the conspiracy. The doctors at the hospital are involved with the conspiracy. All the local police are. How many numbers do you want to go to? I mean, that's preposterous. But it's the veil. Here's what you need to understand: the band-aid, is being ripped off. The fact that in the past, I don't think in the past they would have shown Democrat protesters talking. Listen, that's nonsense. Anyone then says that, the people that say, hey, anything's possible, that is ludicrous. That is beyond preposterous. No, that's not. Hey, anything's not possible. It's like these people that try to argue reasonable doubt. No, it's reasonable doubt and irreasonable doubt. No, there wasn't a hoax, wasn't a false flag. There are some Democrat people online, and I'm glad they're being highlighted, that were trying to say that the Secret Service agents, they all looked like they were laughing. There was no one laughing. I mean, that is just beyond the pale. But it shows how desperate they are, and most importantly, that the media has totally flipped the script. I don't believe the media is not along for the script. The narrative today is that Biden was in denial with Lester Holt of NBC News, clearly still not dealing in reality, and that President Trump emerged and was actually, he didn't say anything last night. It was just his presence. He seemed very emotional. I think I'm very anxious to hear his speech Thursday night, because I'm going to say, I don't even think he liked some of the talk, because I think he views it as it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary. There's no reason to pummel, right? Like right now, you have your base fired up. So just make it acceptable for the middle to vote for you. J.D. Vance is a very interesting pick, and I'm going to touch on that and where this puts Rhode Island right now. But folks, this portion of our program, I want to remind you, if you're thinking of doing some work on your home, or maybe you have an unfinished garage or an unfinished basement, acoustical ceilings, maybe you want to do an in-law apartment, AJ Drywall Plasters Home Improvement. Call them today, 401-323-9252. 401-323-9252. AJ Drywall Plasters and Home Improvement. Acoustical ceilings, frame to finish basements, new homes, painting, remodeling. Maybe you're going to add on an in-law apartment. AJ Drywall Plasters and Home Improvement. 401-323-9252. I know of someone right now. They have a beautiful home. They don't want to move. They wouldn't mind a little extra income. The home is almost too big for them. So they're going to have it reconstructed that they could actually, they're almost going to turn it into like a duplex where they could rent out part of their home. They're making the decision to do that. Folks, you could do it. Call today, free estimate, home or business, 401-323-9252. Now, a couple of reminders. I have enjoyed sitting out in my yard, no mosquito bites. No mosquito bites. You sit out at night, no mosquito bites, no ticks. How is that possible? Mosquito Joe of Rhode Island. Mosquito Joe of Rhode Island. They can come and treat your property, your yard, your business. You're having a family cookout, call them. Remarkable. People are not getting eaten alive. I had a friend over who was sitting outside. He's like, this is amazing. I'm not even getting bit. He said, I can't even sit out on my deck. As soon as it hits dusk, you start getting eaten alive. You showed me his mosquito bites. I don't have any. I said, you got to contact Mosquito Joe of Rhode Island. Call them, 401-426-2032. They come right out. Boom. Remarkable. Mosquito Joe. Now, what does this mean for Rhode Island? Well, now, first of all, you have, as I mentioned, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. He, all eyes are on him because I know, number one, he is in a race right now against, there is a Republican primary, Representative Patricia Morgan, and then you also have Ray McKay, who is challenging him. But I see that Brian Crandall caught up with Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. And I want to play the sound because I'll say this about Senator Whitehouse. He's definitely not following the Democrat talking points. He's not following the Democrat talking points. So I want to hear this. Let's hear. This is Crandall caught up with him.
I think that's a project that is still being considered between House leadership, Democratic leadership, and the president and his team, and I don't think there's an answer for it yet.
What do you think?
I'm going to steer clear of that for now.
So you wouldn't say that you unequivocally support the president?
I'm steering clear of that. I'm not saying one thing or another, despite your very clever and well-handled efforts to try to get me to say that. But those were your words, not mine.
You know, that is but the fact that he's saying that there are right now, there's still efforts. So I'm going to play that again. Here we go. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse.
I think that's a project that is still being considered between House leadership, Democratic leadership, and the president and his team, and I don't think there's an answer for it yet.
What do you think?
Now, here's the thing about Rhode Island Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. So number one, he is obviously totally just into it for himself, right? I mean, he absolutely, since he's really been in the Senate, the only person that he cares about, the only person that he has ever cared about is, in fact, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, just himself. That's why he gave all those speeches on climate change, global warming, blah, blah, blah. What this is really about is Senator Whitehouse looks at it is what is his life going to be like over the next 6 months. They're going to lose the Senate. They're going to lose the White House. They're going to lose the House. All he cares about is what does this mean for him? Now, I know that most of the time, you know, it's very easy to say, well, everyone thinks that way. How does it affect them? But I think where he is a little different is he's just so self-absorbed that it's almost as if he has no interest in being in Washington if then he's going to just keep getting pummeled by the Trump administration, by the Wall Street Journal. What's going to happen now is here's where Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, and no one is saying this, where he's very concerned, is there's really now the potential for September, October, for some big money groups that despise him to just start to unleash negative ads. And I mean spending a lot of money. Now, I don't know if, number one, first is a Republican primary. Representative Patricia Morgan against Ray McKay. So someone has to emerge. I'm not fully convinced yet. We've had Representative Patricia Morgan on. We'll have her on again. I'm still not convinced it's, a neck and neck. But what he is seeing is this race could be much closer than he thought it was going to be. He wanted it to be. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, the past few election cycles, he did have Judge Bob Flanders against him in 2018, and that was right on the heels of Brett Kavanaugh. But he still, it was never really less than a 10-point race. This time, he doesn't like the idea that this could turn into, margin of error. He's only up 6 or 7 points. That cuts into time at Bailey's Beach Club. And the way everything is motioning right now, I'm just looking at some of the reporting that's out there. Joe Weisenthal, when was the last time there was a presidential election such an overwhelming favorite with almost 4 months until the vote? I mean, it's not even close right now. And the fact is, even someone like Ted Nesi is putting out, they're even following what Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, what is he even liking and what is he gravitating towards on social media. And one of the things that they noticed was there was a piece in New York Magazine, the Democrat Party's strange attraction to defeatism. And he tweeted it out. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse tweeted out, I'm on his Twitter page, X page right now, 600,000 followers, more than I thought. He actually tweeted that out. I mean, what does that say? That he's actually putting that out there. So, nothing good, the fact that he's going along with that. Now, also, there's a lot of bizarre, stunning news that I want to get into. This reporter for CBS, I don't know if you've heard the latest with the gunman, and I also want to talk about what this means for Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee, what it means for our congressional delegation, and a lot more. First, couple of reminders. Number one, 12:28 on this Tuesday, someone asked me about, are there still seats available for the Red Sox, Boston Red Sox, Baltimore Orioles road trip game? The answer is yes. Few seats left, August 16th through the 18th. I've been on this trip, round trip motor coach, tickets in the all-you-can-eat suite at 7 o'clock, tickets Saturday's game, 2 nights in the Marriott Sheraton in Harbor, walk to the game. It's a great trip. Call 401-274-TRIP or online at 274trip.com. It's very memorable. It's family-friendly. Red Sox, Baltimore. And you're going to love it. And it's coming up. Log on, 401-274-TRIP. Now, also, where is Eileen? Eileen is thinking of getting a fence. Eileen contacted me, who do I recommend? Eileen, contact fenceRI.com, 401-732-0555, 401-732-0555, the premier fence and deck contractor. Quality, long-term quality solutions for your yard. It's fenceRI.com. Find them online at fenceRI.com. Now, if you mention our program, $200 discount. Wood deck construction, licensed and insured, 5-star rating on Google, whether it's for pool fencing, maybe it's for a pet fence, maybe you would just like more privacy or security. FenceRI.com, $200 off if you go with them and mention our program. 401-732-0555. Find them on Facebook. If you're thinking of having installing a fence, go with fenceRI.com, 401-732-0555. Now, the latest on the gunman, and this is reporting from, hold on, here it is. Okay, stunning new details from CBS News. This is so bizarre. Before the Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on Saturday. And this is one of those incidents that I believe this will forever change how the Secret Service operates. I've mentioned after, it happens many times. After President Kennedy was shot, that's it. He was the last president to ever ride in an open car. After the Pope was shot, then he went inside the Pope mobile. I think it will have this type of effect. But here's what's bizarre. There were 3 snipers stationed inside the building the shooter was on, according to a local law enforcement officer with direct knowledge of the incident. I don't know what to make of this, but I want to get to 3 snipers inside the building. Now, I don't know if this is just more finger pointing, but listen to this. This is Olivia Rinaldi of CBS. One of the snipers inside saw Crooks outside looking up at the roof, observing the building, and then disappeared. We heard he was in the field walking around. Crooks came back, sat down, looking at his phone, and at that point, one of the snipers took a photo of him. Crooks then took out a rangefinder, and the sniper radioed to the command post. Sounds like Road Patrol Command Center post. Crooks disappeared again, then came back a third time with a backpack. The snipers called in with information that he had a backpack and said he was walking towards the back of the building. Officers believe Crooks, the gunman, may have used an air conditioning unit to get on top of the roof. By the time other officers came for backup, he had climbed on top of the building and was positioned above and behind the snipers inside the building. Two other officers who heard the sniper's call came and tried to get onto the roof. State police started rushing the scene. By that time, a Secret Service sniper had already killed Crooks, according to the law enforcement officer. The officer also said Crooks had an IED in his pocket, in addition to the explosive materials in his car. Questions remain about how this was possible, that several law enforcement officers had eyes on the shooter before and report his behavior, yet still this happened. I don't, and even why was he left unprotected on stage for 26 minutes after a threat was identified, compared to Dayton, Ohio, 4 seconds after threat? This was Angus Davis that listened to this. Las Vegas, 4 seconds after threat. Reno, 6 seconds. I don't get it. This was, he's got a gun, someone shouted November 5th, 2016 at a Trump rally in Reno. Within 6 seconds, the Secret Service surrounded him, evacuated him within 13 seconds. I don't understand any of that, folks. Like many of you, I'm not saying that anyone may, have an idea of this whole thing, but I just don't understand. Let me just see again. There's still, I don't know what to make of White House, but I want to tell you what this is. Oh, let me see this. Okay. I did hear about this morning. Let me just, it was an armed robbery. All right, I'm going to get to that. Folks, this portion of the program, God bless me. Excuse me, folks, I apologize. Is brought to you by Royal Exteriors. Call today, roofing or siding, Royal Exteriors, right in Johnston, 401-533-9989. Royal Exteriors. You get to deal directly with the owner. Call Andrew. If you're thinking of getting a new roof or siding, 401-533-9989 for a free estimate. Remember, Royal Exteriors, where the customer is king. 401-533-9989. Call Royal Exteriors. As you're listening on this Tuesday, maybe it's been some time before you got a new roof. Maybe the last big rainstorm we've had, you've had some problems. Call Andrew at Royal Exteriors. Get them into the mix. You deal directly with the owner. Andrew is knowledgeable. Andrew is reputable, expert workmanship expert. And on top of that, give him a chance to pitch your business. Royal Exteriors. Call today, 401-533-9989. Remember, where the customer is king or queen, it's Royal Exteriors, 401-533-9989. All right. Now, I did get a message that there was some police activity in East Providence this morning, and I want to follow up on that. Channel 6, 3 people were arrested this morning. They allegedly tried to rob an individual at gunpoint. Happened at 9 o'clock. The victim approached an officer working a traffic detail, vicinity of James Street, gave a description of the suspects of the vehicle they were in. According to the release, several officers and detectives responded to the area and located a red Honda CRV that had crashed at the intersection of James Street and Blanding Avenue. Neighbors confirmed with police they did hear gunfire and directed officers to an area where 3 suspects fled on foot. Officers located the 3 suspects hiding behind the skate ramp at the Central Avenue playground. All 3 were taken into custody with that incident. A loaded firearm was located in the immediate area. All 3 were positively identified by the victim and brought to the police station to be processed. East Providence Police said suspects' names will be released pending further. All right, so there was action in East Providence. We did hear about that. Someone had said there was a shooting. We were checking into that. But there was, in fact, something that came down to. So, by the way, also, how about the situation in Warwick this morning, where it's about time? It was a writer for the Providence Journal. A Warwick councilwoman took the lot next to her house. And she is someone, Warwick has some of those individuals that should not, in fact, um, be in positions of power. So it was a shady deal. The Journal reported on it, and that's where we're at right now. So, but she was in fact in court this morning, and it resulted in a state police investigation over this whole thing. So, Warwick does have some, and has, whether you had Poopy Pants Bacchus or this individual, and I want to give credit to someone like a Rob Cody. There she is, Warwick City Council member, ordered to return plot of land. Give back a plot of land next to her home following a state police investigation. Donna Travis pled no contest, filing a false document. So she was in court this morning, Donna Travis, no contest, filing a false document, state police investigation, transfer of property from the Oakland Beach Association. The state said it was prepared to prove in 2021 she submitted a quitclaim deed with false information meant to mislead the city of Warwick. The plot of land next to her home had been donated to the Oakland Beach Real Estate Owner Association, but the association never signed off transferring the land to Travis. So she received a 1-year suspended sentence, 1-year probation, not running for re-election. Listen, she is a thief. She is an absolute thief and a crook, and shouldn't have been in that situation. And, you just wonder, folks, and again, I do want to talk about everything that's going on at this convention, everything that's about to happen. And I believe it's a real opportunity for the Rhode Island Republican Party. And I want to touch on that. But first, a couple of reminders. First, if you're looking for a lawn care company or tree service, JD's Lawn Care and Tree Service. Call them today. They do fantastic work. 401-441-0154. I share their page on Facebook, JD's Lawn Care and Tree Service. And also, where is the email I received from Sabrina, who wants to get her driveway paved? She asked, who do I recommend for that? Sabrina, contact J. Perry Paving today. High quality, fair pricing, exceptional service, 20 years experience, specialized in commercial paving, residential paving, free estimate. Call J. Perry Paving today, 401-732-1730. Whether it's your driveway or a parking lot, J. Perry Paving, 401-732-1730. 401-732-1730. Fair pricing, exceptional service. If you're listening right now on this Tuesday, and maybe you have been thinking of getting your driveway paved, folks, call J. Perry Paving today. Licensed and insured, contracted company, committed to meeting your needs. Remember, whether it's a brand new paving project or just a cracked driveway, call J. Perry Paving today, 401-732-1730 for J. Perry Paving. Well, folks, good afternoon. So there was excitement in East Providence this morning. I received a message from someone, wasn't exactly sure. I have a good contact with East Providence. We'll have to find out exactly what happened. It sounds like it went down very quickly. Yes. And by the time we were then looking into it, okay, yep, he's no longer in office. We always have people that want to say, hey, we're noticing this or that. And then I'd like to just find out. But I want to come back to folks. I mean, the story, and this is going to have big ramifications. And it's something that now you hear me talk every Monday with Justin Katz, Politics This Week. By the way, Donna Perry coming up next hour, talking about Trump on Saturday, what this means for the election, what it means for Biden. President Trump, without question, is in fact the overwhelming, favorite right now with the election. So, but what does that mean? Well, it's something that Justin and I have been talking about, and that is, and you have a right to know this. You need to know this. The entire Rhode Island budget, the entire Rhode Island government, is built on the premise that they get a boatload of money from the federal government, and that is absolutely not guaranteed with the new administration. And a good example of that is Governor McKee has been announcing, and had been announcing, I should say, that the Biden administration was going to pay for 75% of, the new bridge. Well, I'd love to see that in writing, because he's going to be out of office. You don't even have someone in motion. This is how incompetent this administration is. How do you not have somebody already right now working on a new bridge or whatever it's going to be? I've heard people toss out, why don't they have a tunnel? I don't have any answer to that. I don't know enough about it. But the notion that the Trump administration in January is going to come in and rubber stamp everything, this foolishness where you have millions missing regarding the bridge. No one fired, no one suspended. And I want to remind you, last July, it was the McKee administration that approved and said that bridge was totally fine. And then 6 months later, they waited till after the Army-Navy game, and then suddenly he sends Peter Alviti out onto television to close the bridge. There is no guarantee, as someone said to me months ago, there is no guarantee the Trump administration may give. Governor McKee said, they're going to give they're going to pay 75% of the cost of the bridge. There's no, as someone said to me, there's no guarantee they're going to give 75 cents towards the bridge. I have told you, number one, McKee remains under an FBI probe, and that can't be disputed. There's a reason for that, number one. Number two, there's a reason why people don't want to do business with someone who is under the radar of an FBI probe. That's number two. Number three, McKee still has all these hangers on. Everyone that is involved with the McKee administration, it's all a huge shakedown operation. Recently, when various people that have left different parts of the McKee administration, one of the things they talk about is you're constantly encouraged to go and try to hit people up for campaign donations. The pay-to-play atmosphere is not going to play. So does Seth Magaziner have any type of juice in what he has? No juice in Washington. The only one that has less juice than Seth Magaziner is Gabe Amo. And now you have Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, who's like having a mental breakdown over the fact that he is going to be rendered useless in Washington. But right now, President Trump is the overwhelming favorite to not only are they going to take back the White House, they're going to take back the Senate and the House. Folks, McKee Matos. Now, also keep in mind, by the way, Massachusetts is also not out of the water. But at least the governor of Massachusetts, Governor Healey, she's already started cutting part of the state budget. But as far as Rhode Island, it's all completely, reliant on all of this federal money. At no point do they think maybe we don't need to keep hiring people at the Rhode Island State House. Maybe we don't just be giving out things. McKee just throws money around left and right. And it's coming to an end. Folks, this portion of our program is brought to you by Don Jose's Tequila. Now, if you like authentic, upscale Mexican food, pop in and see them. 351 Apples Avenue in Providence. Now, today is Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. Saturday night, dining out front, al fresco. Monday through Thursday, $26.99, three-course special. Margarita flights, $29.99. Brunch on Sundays, 10:30 to 3. They do have outside the back patio, but it's so hot. Maybe you want to be inside, nice and air conditioned. It's a it's a fun restaurant. It's delicious, authentic Mexican upscale food. It's Don Jose's Tequilas with over 45 high-end tequilas. You're going to love it. Right there, 351 Atwells Avenue on historic Federal Hill. Well, folks, good afternoon. You're listening to the John DePietro Show. It is AM 1380. It's 99.9 FM. Right now, I'm anxious to see the speech on Thursday night from President Trump because Nikki Haley speaking tonight. Everything is unified. Everything is unified within the Republican Party right now. And for some of the people, there are people that are never Trumpers. And they're on the outside looking in. As we, Justin and I, you heard our segment, Politics This Week. I take exception to Ken Block, who immediately turned this into, both sides need to calm this down and blah, blah, blah. That's the wrong type of talk when you have a president, and even Lester Holt called him out on it, saying that, you were talking about putting him in the bullseye. And Biden couldn't even answer properly, saying, well, I meant in the crosshairs. I mean, what is that supposed to mean? Right now, Steve Frias, who I've known for over 20 years, if he had asked me, I would have said, what are you talking about? Steve Frias resigned from the Rhode Island Republican National Committee because President Trump was going to be at the top of the ticket. I don't get that. I don't understand some of these individuals that have turned their back, because right now, what you're seeing in Milwaukee, the party is wildly united. And J.D. Vance, who came up from nothing, who is also a veteran, Marine veteran, served our country in Iraq, went to Ohio State undergrad, Yale Law School, in the Senate. I mean, his story could have gone off in so many different ways. Successful business person, seems very grounded. He is, I saw him, I played the sound of him on Meet the Press just 2 weeks ago. He just really seems in rhythm. He's a millennial. He's going to turn 40. He's 39 right now. It gives the ticket youth. He is the only one. Look at the final four. Biden, Harris, President Trump, Senator J.D. Vance. Vance is the only one with military experience. He's the youngest of the group. And as I talked about last hour, from what I understand, they're going to park him in Pennsylvania and have him campaign. He's from Ohio, but Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan. They're just going to have him going in a circle, constantly doing that, especially Pennsylvania, where early voting starts, I believe, in I think it's 65 days from what I heard. Early voting starts. So people are going to find out about him. They're going to try to do I don't think it's going to work. He is, if you've heard him last night, I did catch, he was live with Hannity. He is of all the choices that President Trump had, I think J.D. Vance, he handles himself so well. And brilliant, and what an incredible story he has. I mean, raised by his grandmother. His mother had abuse problems. He's married with a young family. It just gives such vigor. The Trump-Vance ticket. I mean, there's no stopping the momentum right now. And President Trump making a play for the independent voters, the Democrat voters. So where does that leave us right now? I'm just going to say in Rhode Island. I mean, completely on the outside looking in. You couldn't be more on the outside looking in. Governor McKee, for all of his mistakes, all of his blunders, the fact that he doesn't belong in office, and then choosing, like, who in their right mind would pick Sabina Matos to be your lieutenant governor? these people are so far in over their head. And you just see, the bridge is one of the best illustrations. I think one of the best illustrations of how broken the McKee camp is just the fact that they can't even get anyone that wants to do business with him and bid on the bridge. Now, that takes a lot. I was on the phone late last week with someone in the construction industry and said, you're talking about, this is a $1 billion project. And it speaks volumes that someone didn't even come in and throw in like I'll do it for $400 million just to, let's see how desperate they are. No one even did that. That's how much people don't want to do business. That's how much people don't want to be pay to play. And where this really lines up so poorly for Governor McKee is you're talking about, if President Trump has one strength, it's as a builder. And he knows how to get things done. And he knows how very complicated, extensive projects and getting them done. Do you think he's going to be able to relate to Governor McKee and all his incompetence? And we still don't know what went wrong. And we're going to have a day of reckoning. And Mattos trying to explain, what the problem. Does anyone really think? Do you think that Mayor Pete is going to go to bat? Gina Raimondo is already plotting her exit. Gina Raimondo is already probably, trying to figure out that she wants to stay in Washington and, work for some kind of a consulting firm. Gina Raimondo is not, she's not going to be there. Mayor Pete, the weakest of the weak, he's not going to be there. There's going to be no one to rubber stamp this stuff. No, they're going to be peeled back. The Rhode Island budget could end up being trimmed. They're not going to send all this money to them. Why? So they just blow through it? No. If anything, the federal investigation into Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee is really going to heat up in the new administration. So he keeps going to Biden and keeps asking Biden for a pardon, keeps asking Biden to get rid of this FBI investigation. I'm telling you, it's not going to happen under the Trump administration. Now, folks, I want to remind you, quality of life is so important. If you have something wrong that affects your quality of life, it ruins everything. And especially one of the things that can ruin quality of life is if you have foot pain. Foot pain is not normal. Call Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialist today, 401-949-3220. 401-949-3220, Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialist. Now, they're right in the Smithfield Medical Center, Route 5 in Smithfield. Beautiful building, ample parking, 3 board-certified podiatrists. They perform all aspects of foot care, from skin conditions, bunions, hammer toe. They treat injuries like fractures and sprains. If you're one of those people that you say, I just can't walk around anymore, my God, what is that? What are you talking about? Contact Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialists. As someone that does 7 to 8 miles a day, I wouldn't be able to be so active if I had foot problems. And don't trust your feet to some young clerk at a kiosk or a pop-up store that wants to sell you expensive inserts. Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialists. They have a digital x-ray on site, quick diagnosis, save time, avoid the ER. They can also many times begin treatment immediately, personalized attention, and remember, they take all health insurance. Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialists. Call today, 401-949-3220. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them online, greenvillefoothandankle.com. Stop surrendering your quality of life. I see it all the time. I see it when I'm out on road patrol. I really saw it during covering the Karen Reed trial, where people that have to stop and rest after walking 50 feet. Oh, I have foot pain, painful ankle feet. I can't walk more than 50 feet. It is not God's will. Call Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialist today, 401-949-3220. Well, folks, good afternoon. Again, you're listening to the John DePetro Show. It's AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. Remember, you can always listen online at the website, depetro.com. I did want to also answer, I received an email from Rebecca, Rebecca is on vacation, and they've decided they'd like to have their kitchen updated and asked me, who did I recommend? Rebecca, call Dreammaker Bath and Kitchen today, 401 433 7272. 401 433 7272. Dreammaker Bath and Kitchen. One stop shop, take you from concept to completion. Remember, respect, integrity, customer focus. Transition from dreams to reality with Dreammaker, 401 433 7272. 401 433 7272. Dreammaker Bath and Kitchen. Folks, call, get them in the mix. Rebecca, if you're thinking of getting a new kitchen or bathroom, contact Dreammaker Bath and Kitchen. Talk to them. Let them meet with them. State of the art design center right on Greenwich Avenue in Warwick. They're right near Crown Plaza. It's Dreammaker Bath and Kitchen. 401 433 7272 for Dreammaker. Well, folks, good afternoon at 12:58. Like many of you, that was really remarkable last night. President Trump, you could tell it was very emotional for him coming out. It's not lost on him. I also think he's got to be exhausted, mentally drained from what happened to him on Saturday, what happened to him then on Sunday, then getting to Milwaukee and coming out on the stage, and then making the decision yesterday for J.D. Vance. He is really remarkable, but make no mistake about it right now. This is full speed ahead. Where Biden was so upset with Lester Holt was he just kept saying, you guys aren't even talking about President Trump. That was their entire strategy. The entire campaign was built around tearing down President Trump. And right now, the media is not doing that. The focus of the media is still the declining president. We're going to break for the 1 o'clock news. Donna Perry, next hour on the radio show. Remember, AM 1380, 99.9 FM. You can always listen online at the website, depetro.com. We're back on the other side after the 1 o'clock news.